Facing criminal charges. They were accused of using excessive force when arresting 2 local college students. Now the police union is fighting back, saying these officers weren't even notified before the charges were filed. So we're bringing in Channel 2 investigative reporter NICOLE CARR live. And Nicole, there's a lot of details here. You have a deeper dive kind of into a look at everyone who was involved.
Yeah, let's start with the police union. You have them on one end saying, hey, there was not a proper investigation by the DA's office nor APD in all of this. And you have the district attorney saying he's seen enough in 3 days to file these charges. And then you have a lot of eyes on this all over the world, right? And it started with live TV on Saturday night.
The conduct involved in this incident, it is not indicative of the way that we treat people in the city of Atlanta.
Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard wasted no time charging 6 Atlanta police officers involved in this Saturday night's tasing and arrest of Morehouse and Spelman students Messiah Young and Taniyah Pilgrim.
I feel a little safer now that these monsters are off of the street.
But the police union is calling foul, saying there's yet to be a thorough investigation.
We've had cases that have gone 2 to 4 years that the DA, Paul Howard, hasn't been able to make a decision on, and had officers sitting on desks for 2 to 4 years, but yet he can do this really quick in 3 days. I think there's a little more motivation here than trying to, serve justice or to do the right thing.
The students say they got caught up in protests after grabbing a bite to eat. Just a few hours earlier, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms had announced a 9 o'clock curfew. The officers yanked them out of their car. When the students refused, they were tased and thrown to the ground. Officers broke a car window and slashed a tire. Pilgrim was handcuffed and put in a police car. Young's wrist was fractured. He spent the night in jail. The young couple's attorneys believe they were targeted after they started shooting video of another Morehouse student being tackled.
As soon as they try to capture that misconduct, they become the victims of the very same kind of misconduct.
Howard announced charges against all 6 officers involved. We took a look at records immediately available to us through the state and APD. They were all in good standing with the state. Willie Sauls Jr. had nearly 30 years in law enforcement, including time on the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. Just 2 months ago, he'd completed cultural awareness, use of force, and de-escalation training. Days prior to the incident, Officer Roland Claude had also completed the same training. He's been with APD for 13 years and is facing a charge for damaging the student's car. In March and April, 21-year vet Officer Lonnie Hood completed his training in the same area. Last year, taser recertification was completed. He's charged for his use of the taser on Young and aggravated assault on Pilgrim. It had been about a year since Officer Armand Jones completed his training. He was the freshest officer in the bunch, going from cadet to officer in October of 2018. He faces an aggravated battery charge for throwing Young on the ground and pointing his gun. Before he was charged, Pilgrim identified him as Officer A. Jones.
Walking me and Messiah off, he says that he was gonna shoot us. Like, this is stuff that shouldn't be said after all the trauma.
And so those 4 officers are confirmed on admin leave as of this evening. Then you have Officers Ivory Streeter and Mark Gardner. Those were the first 2 veteran officers fired earlier this week. They are also charged and had recently completed the same training, and all of the officers are expected to turn themselves in by Friday. Of course, this is something, a process we'll continue to follow. Reporting live, NICOLE CARR, Channel 2 Action News, WSB Tonight.
Giving us that interesting perspective. Thank you, Nicole.